Hi, this is Ryan. It's Clovis Star, December 6, 2015. My common troll, my brother-in-law, loves to troll me, probably got nothing better to do in his life, came and told me that the amazing atheist made fun of my video. Oh, cool. I feel so honored. What does this guy not make fun of? I don't know what constructive role he plays in society. The guy is, you know, not very constructive and not very helpful. Um, in fact, very destructive, and I don't see him making any progress to do or help anything in life. But I've learned about this as of just today, Drunken Peasants podcast, because my troll, my brother-in-law, informed me that they had made fun of my video. Oh, it's a pleasure. Thank you. I'll respond. This is great. So this is what they say. I hope the audio quality is good enough. I may have to dub this in just so that the audio quality is better.
Fucking blood and bristle. So obviously it's a false flag, you know.
You know, I was playing Fallout 4 the other night. I shot someone in the head. That shit just exploded, man. I'm watching this guy's head. It don't explode at all. He just flinches a little. That's bullshit. That's theater. That's a pageant, man.
Okay. Well, he's talking about somebody else. Let's see here.
Is Bernie Sanders' platform versus National Socialists in the 1920s.
I've watched a little bit of this earlier. Just be warned, it's one of those guys that takes forever to get to whatever point he's
Should I just skip to...
Okay, so as far as that's concerned, whoever's taken so long to get to their point, my video was 12 minutes long. I took a minute to introduce ourselves and what we're up to and why we're talking about this subject of socialism and capitalism. And a minute and 29 seconds I took to introduce ourselves pales in comparison to the 2.5 hours almost of these guys rambling on about stuff they don't like about other people. I love that they can complain so much about something that is so minuscule in time compared to their bullshit. So yeah, they've got 2 hours, 17 minutes, and 38 seconds of bullcrap. I've got 12 minutes. And I took a few minutes to talk about why we do what we do. And I'll kind of give you a little bit of it. So
Hi, this is Ryan from Sensi Life Community News. You can check us out at xcannabis.com and at clovistar.com. This is another project I'm working on, capitalismtools.com.
Anyway, we'll get up to it to where I get on with it.
Appropriate comments to describe a little bit more about socialism.
So here we are, a minute 42. I'm good to go. I'm talking about the platform between Bernie Sanders and Adolf Hitler. And I go into both the Bernie Sanders platform. I go to On the Issues, and I go through his issues and ideology, and I compare it to the 1920s platform of the National Socialist, which it aligns almost identically. They talk about how labor needs to be empowered, how labor unions are essential, and the Nazis ended the private labor unions but created a government labor union, basically the National Socialist German Workers' Party. That was a labor union, and they started out as a private non-government entity, and then when they were elected into office, they started it as a government entity and ended the competition. And competition is a free market ideology. Lacking of competition is a socialist ideology. When competition is dissolved, then you've got socialism, and that's what Hitler did. So he's a perfect socialist. So after I compare the two, I wanted to kind of go into more about the interesting contradictions in the ideology. And so well, you know what? I'm going to go back to this video of theirs because I think it's hilarious. And I'm glad that they got it out in front of their audience. Apparently they have a lot of people that watch.
Like the middle of it, or...
Well, let's just see how it goes.
Okay. We can't even see him because we're covering him.
Capitalism Tools.
Check us out at xcannabis.com and at clovistar.com.
Yeah.
This is another project I'm working on, capitalismtools.com.
He believes in capitalism, and he is a tool.
Now building it. I do get some mentorship here. We have some local meetings inspiring people to, how to invest in Bitcoin or how to produce services.
And there we go. That's me being constructive. I'm offering free mentorship. We're doing meetings, getting people connected, and promoting people, and their endeavors to gain capital and rise out of poverty. So that's why our Facebook group is called Capitalism as Tool for the Poor. And we believe that capitalism, in fact, it's demonstrated in all of history that capitalism has been the main aspect of people rising out of poverty. Socialism is what, starved people in Soviet Union. Like millions of people starved due to their policies of government fixing prices. So, that's my contribution, is that I don't only complain about what I don't like about socialism, but I offer an alternative, a constructive alternative, and I invest my time and resources in promoting that.
Sell for Bitcoin or acquire Bitcoin or other ways. And I've kind of been promoting this since 2011, but I demonstrated it first with xcannabis.com back before there was Bitcoin, back before there was cryptocurrencies. I kind of had my own cryptocurrency on.
So you click on a video, it says Bernie Sanders platform versus National Socialists in the 1920s. You click the video, it opens up, there's some motherfucker.
Hey, you're talking about Bitcoin.
Rambling about Bitcoins and cannabis bit.
Right, which is demonstrating a alternative to socialism. See, I like to be productive like that. You guys should try it out.
It's cannabis. I mean, what?
Yeah.
We're all about cannabis.
Cannabis.
xcannabis.com called
Yeah.
Cannabis.
Cannabis.
That's a clever name, isn't it?
You just go to xcannabis.com and do a search
thought of that myself.
on the website for cannabis. You can learn more about it. Anyway,
Why would I go to xcannabis.com and search? I came here looking to see Bernie.
I'm not entirely sure why you're there, but you're there, and you accomplished my goal of getting you there. Appreciate it.
Sanders' platform compared with National Socialists in the 1920s. What the fuck makes you think that I'm going to go to xcannabis.com and search cannabis?
It sounds like something like they'd sell at Tim Hortons in the Netherlands or something like that.
New cannabis.
There's got to be money in this.
THC cream in the
so many
donuts.
people are trying to do this YouTube thing. There's got to be money for somebody like maybe of your stature, TJ, to step in and just go, no, stop what you're doing. If you want people to watch and listen to what you're doing, just fucking stop. Like, don't name a video one thing and then go on for 20 minutes about cannabis. Nobody cares.
Well, I mean, fortunately, I guess you guys have a fairly big audience, and people are watching because I irritated the shit out of you. Awesome.
That's what the show is for. So right now we can say it to them, like fuck you.
But they're not paying us.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
I need to pay you now. No, I don't, because you're doing this for me anyway. Thank you.
Skip this shit, all right? You want to make a video about this? Title it Bitcoins and Cannabis or something,
Well, except for only a minute and around 40 seconds has anything to do with Bitcoins or cannabis, and then the 10 and a half minutes following it gets on to the Bernie Sanders versus National Socialism.
Oh, that's a good title for this part of the video. You want to make a video about Bernie Sanders' platform versus the National Socialists in the 1920s? Here's how the video should start.
I can't even stand this. These guys can't even talk straight.
Who aren't characters, but also he wants to get away from talking to Paul too. So he's very selective.
Evan LaFavor is not a character. He's just crazy.
You know what I have to say to that in response to Mario there? I have to say this. I'm cooking up a beat.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Anyway, and then they go on to other stuff, and they're very, I don't know, counterproductive. I don't know what they're producing here. I don't know what they're helping with or being constructive with or doing to improve anybody's life here. They're just talking shit, which, thank you, because it got my message out. Here's a question. I'm going to make this real quick. So, National Socialists and atheists, they seem to go hand in hand. You look at the Soviet Union in the World War II era, and you look at their killers, their group of killers that they had established by the government in the Soviet Union, the League of Militant Atheists, who killed something like 27 million people based on their religion only. Not because they were attacking the atheists, not because they were causing any problems in society, but just because of their religion. And, and I think they say total in the World War II, conflict, there was about 60 million people that died. So, there's that. And the people that, I think are destructive come from these kind of organizations like what we're watching here, where they do nothing productive. It's mostly destructive. But you look at Karl Marx, you look at his topics on the Holocaust. Before the Holocaust ever happened, he was in favor of an extermination of Jews and things like that. And that's in his writings. You look at Charles Darwin's, you look at how he said the white man, because of their evolution, are a better race, a superior race, and that they would eventually beat out the so-called Turkish Hollow. I'll put some references here, you can see it. So all of this racism and this Holocaust idea came from the mentors of Stalin and Hitler. Everyone says, oh, Hitler was a Christian, and a lot of people started out that way. But Hitler was influenced by Darwin and Marx. Most socialists that came after them as well. You look at their ideology and references to people that inspired them, and it's these atheists and these socialists. And they're very racist, and they were very in favor of a Holocaust. Hitler didn't come up with this idea on his own. It came up long before he got into office, and he was just following suit. Same with Stalin. But let me ask you this. Here's another question is, if you believe in atheism, and you believe in evolution, and we believe in like the survival of the fittest, where evolution, is, basically people who, or species who are able to survive in varying situations, and able to overcome varying situations. Their ability to survive and evolve is, basically this whole survival of the fittest notion. But what happens when, a socialist and who is an atheist gets into office and is going to give people a whole bunch of freebies to weaken them, where they don't have to fight for it, they don't have to struggle to survive, they don't have to do anything but just wait for a government check? How is that going to evolve our species? How are we going to get more, evolved? Or how are we going to overcome things to, become stronger and as a species evolve? If socialism is the method of government, where everybody gets a check no matter what they do, irregardless of if they work, if they don't, if they can work, if they can't work, no matter what, if they ask for a handout, they can pretty much get it. 70 million checks a month go out from the federal government in the United States for handouts. I got that from Obama's speech when they were talking about the debt ceiling in 2009. He's saying something like 70 million checks a month go out to people from the government for assistance, the federal side. And that's not even the state assistance. A lot of these welfare programs are state-based. So that's just a minuscule amount of money that goes out from the government, the 70 million checks. There's probably another 100 million checks that go out from state assistance in this country. And here we are talking about survival of the fittest and only the strong survive and evolution and stuff. I don't know. What are atheists doing that are socialist? Are they trying to weaken people so that only a certain class of people are stronger? Like Charles Darwin was talking about or Karl Marx was talking about? Or how does that help us evolve? How does that help us as a species to give people whatever they want for nothing, without any kind of struggle or any kind of fight? How does that help us evolve? How does that help strengthen us? Think about that one for a little while. Thanks for putting us on your little show here, Drunken Peasants. Never heard of it before. I'm surprised you spent so much time complaining about my minute and a half of talking about capitalism. But I do like to show a contrast. If socialism is so bad, what would be better? In my opinion, capitalism has brought more people out of poverty than any other system on earth. And, the free market has allowed people, to rise out of their situation, invest capital and multiply capital and, work for the greater good of the community by offering services that people need and allowing themselves to profit from it. I don't see anything wrong with capitalism, but I do wonder why there's such a hypocrisy with people who are not only atheists, but socialist. That seems like a oxymoron to me. How can you be atheist and socialist? How can you believe in survival of the fittest and evolution and also push socialism on people? That seems contradictory. Anyway, check us out at clovisstar.com. Peace out.